I would say this is a surprising collaboration, but it's not at all. If there's one thing e.l.f.'s gonna do, it's collaborate with an intellectual property. Oh no. Hello, welcome back to my channel. Thank you so much for being here. That was super sweet of you. Let's zoom you in for the eye look. Oh my gosh, I love the way this eye look turned out today. I started by going in with my Blend Money Blends palette. Is anybody surprised at this point? This is clearly like palette of the year for me. I know it's only March, but like honestly my favorite of the year so far. And I went in with this shade of purple on the inner portion of the eye and then the deeper shade of purple on the outer portion. And then in the center of the lid, I went in with my Colourpop Super Shock Shadow in the shade Ripple. Look at that beautiful shift. Are you kidding me? Giving a little subtle spotlight, halo eye, I guess that's called. And then I went in with my Glisten Cosmetics Plum wet liner, which is in my little BYOP that I made, but the shade is called Plum. I'm also wearing my cutie little fostering flower earrings, my little flowers, matching my little flower dress here that I got at Marshall's last year. Feeling very floral, feeling very spring, and feeling very purple. But that's not what this video is about. You did not click on this video to find out how cute and purple and floral I am today. No, you clicked on this video because you, like me, have an interest in new makeup releases and me not buying any of them. I figured with the Sephora sale coming up, you know, there's gonna be a lot of temptations of things you wanna buy. So even though I already made my Sephora sale recommendations video, why don't I come in here and convince you not to buy some things? But as with all of these anti-hauls, this is all just my opinion. I'm not gonna like things that you're gonna like. I also make a point to not talk about makeup releases that I don't like just for like color reasons. Like I'm not gonna come on here and be like, I'm anti-hauling the new Patrick Ta palette because I don't like neutrals, because that is boring to listen to. I'm only gonna talk about new makeup releases that at least have some sort of interest to me, but I ultimately will not be buying. You know what I'm saying? You get it. You get it. So if that sounds like a topic that is interesting to you and you want to talk about some new makeup releases with me, then I encourage you to please subscribe and keep on watching because it's coming at you right now. Alright, so the first new makeup release I want to talk to you about is the new collaboration between e.l.f. and Dunkin' Donuts. I would say this is a surprising collaboration, but it's not at all. I believe around this exact same time last year, e.l.f. collaborated with Chipotle. If there's one thing e.l.f.'s gonna do, it's collaborate with an intellectual property. But hey, them and everybody else, so I'm not judging for that. But I will say there's a couple things in here that I'm a little interested in. It might just be because my first job was working at Dunkin' Donuts, so it has like a little special place in my heart, you know? Ugh, it just warms my heart. I always love my Dunkin', you know? But there's definitely some things here that are easy for me to resist. Like those little bite-sized palettes, I can resist very easily because I purchased one of them a couple years ago. I purchased the Berry bite-sized palette and I hated it. It was like the formula was really, really bad. The mattes weren't very pigmented and the shimmers were terrible. They were like hard pan. I couldn't get any shimmer payoff from them. But you know, that might have been a one-off. Maybe I just got a bad one. So I'm not judging them all together, but I'm also not, like, you can understand why I'm not like eager to buy a bite-sized palette. I mean, I guess it's a low risk type of situation because what are they, like $3? Oh, that's weird. I'm trying to find the price of them and it's showing the Dunkin' dozen eyeshadow set for $16. Do you have to buy all three together? That's weird. Let me do a little more research on that because that doesn't sound right to me. Okay, no, it says the same thing on e.l.f.'s Instagram too. That's weird. Why would you only sell it in a set? Like, what if I don't want to buy 3 different eyeshadow palettes? I know they're only 4 shades each. Okay, so then that makes it even easier for me to anti-haul those eyeshadow palettes. I definitely don't need all 3. But the product I'm interested in, oh no. I was gonna say the product I was interested in was that lip balm because it probably smells like coffee, but it's a lip scrub. In that case, I don't want it. I actually have a coffee lip scrub already. My mom got me one from Burt's Bees for Christmas, so I don't need a coffee lip scrub. Ugh, I was really hoping that was gonna be like a cute brown tone tinted lip balm because I love the e.l.f. lip balm formula. At least they're a hydrating core lip shine. I have the shade Delightful, which is like a beautiful cool tone purple. All the chefs are kissing. We love her. So I was hoping that that's what the little brown lip balm was, but turns out it's a lip scrub. I will say I love the little keychain glosses. I love a keychain. You guys don't know this about me because why would you? Why would I talk about it before? But I love a keychain. I used to have so many keychains on my lanyard in high school and college. I love a keychain, so I'm not gonna lie. I am tempted by these. How much are the glosses? You have to buy buy the set of glosses too? This can't be correct. This cannot be correct. I mean, this is the information on e.l.f. and Trend Mood. Maybe they just haven't announced how much individuals are yet. Here's the deal, makeup brands, are you listening? Everybody listen up. I don't like being forced to buy things in sets. In fact, it makes me not want to buy anything at all. I feel like if you're selling me something in a set and I only wanted one, I'm not gonna be like, oh, well, I guess I gotta buy the set to get both. No, I'm just not gonna buy anything. But, you know, maybe this works on some other people, but yeah, this is like really turning me off to the whole collection now. Oh no. Well, in that case, I guess I am anti-hauling everything because I don't want to buy anything in a set. The donut sponges are really cute, but I don't use sponges for my makeup, so that doesn't work for me. The brush set is cute, just don't really need brushes right now. So yeah, I guess I am anti-hauling the entire e.l.f. and Dunkin collection, but you guys let me know if you're picking anything up. And what I'm more curious about is, will you still buy something even if you have to get it in a set? Like if you only want one of these eyeshadow palettes, like you really want it, are you willing to buy the whole set to get it? Or are you turned off like I am? Please let me know. We all have different opinions and I would love to know yours. All right, next up, let's talk about another drugstore makeup brand and intellectual property collab, and that is the Wet n Wild Care Bears collection. Looking at this from a distance, you know, obviously very cute, obviously very colorful, and you would think a colorful cheap lady like me would be all over this, but yeah, this is an easy anti-haul for me. Honestly, I feel like this is giving very kids makeup vibes, you know, like makeup marketed specifically for children, not just because of the Care Bears, because obviously Care Bears, you know, Care Bears go back like decades. I have two older sisters who are like 20 years older than me, and I know they had a bunch of Care Bear stuff growing up, so I know Care Bears were a thing in the 80s, so I'm not saying like that's why it's kids makeup. The reason I feel like this is marketed as kids makeup is because that eyeshadow palette looks very cheap to me, and I know Wet n Wild is a drugstore brand, like it is inexpensive, but this is like, I guess I shouldn't use the word cheap. I don't know how to explain it. This is just giving very kids makeup kit to me. I'm sure you guys remember, no matter what generation you're from, I feel like they always market these kids makeup sets, which come in these little cheapy plasticky palettes, and you know, it's got a little lip gloss in it, maybe a little bit of sparkly eyeshadow in it with a little foam applicator, and you know, it's marketed for kids just to play dress up with, and that's the vibe I'm getting from this eyeshadow palette. And you know, they have some other things. It looks like they have some lip scrubs. You guys, why do these makeup brands gotta put a lip scrub with every collection? Probably because it's very cheap to produce, because it's usually just like sugar, glycerin, and fragrance, but whatever, okay. There's a primer serum, which is kind of random. That's definitely doesn't feel like marketed towards kids. But okay, yeah, the Free to Shine glitter gels look very kids makeup to me because they come in that tube packaging. They're giving me very Bath and Body Works, early 2000s art stuff vibes. Do you guys remember art stuff from Bath and Body Works? That was like their specifically tween brand. It's giving me very much that sort of vibe. And I know glitter's kind of on a comeback right now because of Euphoria, but like glitter in this specific packaging is making me think like kids makeup for sure. Are you getting this same vibe from this collection? I don't know, maybe I'm alone in this. Hi, just popping in to give a little bit of an updated thoughts on this, because as I'm watching it back, I feel like it seems like I'm being a big hater towards kids makeup, and I don't mean to come off that way, because honestly, I'm convincing myself I want to buy stuff watching this, because I'm like, ugh, Y2K vibes, nostalgia vibes. But the reason I keep pointing out that it feels a little cheap and like it looks like it's gonna be cheap is because this is a little bit more of an expensive collection from Wet n Wild. That eyeshadow palette is $17. So I feel like that adds some more perspective to what I was saying about the eyeshadow palette seeming cheap. Like, obviously I love that Wet n Wild keeps things at a nice affordable price point for us at the drugstore, but $17 is kind of pushing past that, and I feel like for the quality, I don't know, still the formula could be surprising and really good. But if you feel very passionately about Care Bears and this is gonna bring you a lot of joy, why not buy something? You know, it's pretty cheap, it's Wet n Wild, so go for it and let me know how it works out. Maybe I'll be having FOMO on this side of the screen, so I would love to hear what you guys think about this collection. All right, next up, let's talk about a non-intellectual property collaboration, and that is the new cheek launch from One Size Beauty by Patrick Starr. So it looks like there are the Cheek Clapper 3D Blush Trios, which look like they come in 6 different shades, and then it looks like there's also some bronzing trios. Yeah, the Made for Shade Bronze and Sculpt Trio palettes, and that looks like it comes in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 shades as well. Okay, very cool. When I first saw these, I'm not gonna lie, my immediate thought was like, oh, is this a Makeup Revolution launch? Because I didn't see like the logo on the outside, and it has like a little smiley face imprint on the actual blushes themselves. So my brain just like immediately went to Makeup Revolution packaging, and then I saw it was Patrick Star and that they were $36, and I was like, oh wow, okay. So one looks a little cheap to me. I don't know how large these are. I'm interested to see somebody holding it in their hand. I'm sure I could find that. Let me look for 2 seconds. Okay, I found a video of Patrick Star holding them, and honestly they still look kind of small to me. They give me vibes of them being like a narrow pan size for blush, which I don't like. When I'm using a powder blush, I like to use a big old blush brush, so I like to really be able to swirl my brush around in there. So the narrow pan size is a bit of a turn off for me. The cheap looking packaging and the $36 price point is a bit of a turn off for me. Patrick Star is also not somebody I'm thrilled to support right now. I'm not writing him off forever, but I will not soon forget his behavior during the pandemic and acting like he didn't care regarding quarantine regulations and all of that. I don't know, that just like gave me a very icky taste in my mouth that I have not soon forgotten. So it's like not a brand that I'm thrilled to support, and to me these just look a little cheap. Maybe they'll be great, maybe they'll be the best formula ever, and I'll be biting my words and I'll be buying them. I know he recently had a successful launch with that one size blurring foundation. It was like an all-in-one blurring BB cream foundation. I'm not sure what it was, but I know a lot of people really liked that, so that was surprising to me because it kind of felt like the brand was falling off a bit. I hadn't seen any new launches from them, or at least I hadn't heard anyone talking about them, and I know his eyeshadow palette was on sale at Sephora for like significantly marked down, so I kind of thought the brand was falling off, but then they had that successful foundation launch, so who knows, maybe this will be really great too. I appreciate that he came out with 6 different shades of bronzing palettes. I think that's a really good start. Of course, you know, you can always come out with more, but I think that's a really good start, and all the different shades of blushes look nice, just not something I need right now, and to me it seems a little overpriced and looks a little cheap. Alright, next up I want to talk about the Pat McGrath Bridgerton Round 2 collection, specifically because of this blush palette. You guys, I am devastated at the packaging of this blush palette, and don't get me wrong, I know that Pat does offer blush palettes that come in the normal little square packaging. I know it's a Bridgerton collab, I know they're gonna try to like do, you know, packaging inspired by the show and everything, but this is devastating to me, and I have seen so many other people comment on this, which is why I wanted to bring it to my YouTube platform and discuss it with you guys, because I've heard so many people say that they would have bought this in a heartbeat if it weren't for the packaging, and me too. I am one of those people, because the swatches of these blushes, you guys know I'm a blush lady. If you're new here, hi, my name is Giovanna. I'm a blush lady. I love blushes. I have so many blushes in my collection, and I am never hesitant to add more. And the swatches on here, like looking at the arm swatches and the finger swatches, they look so beautiful. The blushes look so bold. Even the highlighter looks absolutely stunning. It could be a little deep on me, but I feel like I can make it work, you know? But it's got a peachy shade. It's got a deep cranberry shade. It's got a beautiful vibrant pink shade. They look so buttery. I know she sells singles of her blushes too, but like, I don't know why I'm more likely to buy a blush palette from her than a single, because I feel like it's getting my money's worth more. I'm sure that's just like a marketing tactic that's working very well on this old brain, but I really want to buy these blush shades and this highlighter in a palette, but this packaging is, I'm literally malfunctioning trying to understand this packaging here, because I know myself, you can see this makeup desk, right? I'm currently in the process of trying to buy some drawers so I can organize all my makeup, but you see this messy makeup desk. Where am I gonna put this? You know, it's never gonna get used because the packaging is so bulky. I know I'm just gonna end up throwing it in a drawer and forgetting about it, and that just sucks. But I'm hoping that she'll hear the feedback and maybe release it in like different packaging too, because I've seen a lot of people commenting on it. You know, me, you know, you and I watching anti-hauls over here, making anti-hauls and watching anti-hauls, you and I tend to always be criticizing makeup, as we should, because we should, you know, be critiquing, giving constructive criticism to brands. But for this launch in particular, I've seen like a lot of constructive criticism. So hoping she'll release it in a more standard packaging, because the eyeshadow palette is released in standard packaging. You know, just give us blushes in this packaging too. I would love that. I'm not gonna buy the eyeshadow palette because these are just not shades I need in my collection, but they're very beautiful. I love the little bee imprint, so freaking cute. And I know my friend Emily of Emily's Makeup Bag bought the first round Bridgerton palette and she really liked it. I have the Pat McGrath Celestial Odyssey palette, and I can also vouch that her formula is absolutely worth the hype. It's really, really good, but I just don't need these shades, and you know, it's a little out of my price range at this point. But yeah, I'm not gonna be buying anything from the Pat McGrath Bridgerton Round 2 collection, but let me know if you guys are and what you think about all this. Alright, lastly, let's talk about a colorful eyeshadow palette that on paper I should absolutely be interested in, but in reality I have no interest in, and that is the new Norvina Volume 6 Pro Pigment palette. So first of all, looking at this, immediately I'm like, okay, colors, yes, me like colors. Colors good, very good. But the organization of this palette I hate, and I kind of feel that way about all of the Norvina palettes, where I'm like, you gave me a lot of colors, but why did you organize them in this way? Like, I really have been trying to wrap my brain around it. The only rows I really understand the organization of are like the last two, because I'm like, okay, the D row, if you will, I'm like, okay, that's where she put a lot of the peachy pinky shades, but then there's a pink shade that's not in that row, and then the last row, I'm like, okay, those are all kind of muted, but then like the center of the palette, I don't really understand, so I don't like the organization of it. I think there's a lot of colors that look very similar to each other, and I'm not opposed to a palette that offers gradients. Clearly, I bought this dang old Blend Bunny palette, and this has great gradients, but I feel like the difference between the Blend Bunny Blends palette and this Norvina palette is that there's not, you know, there's very mild differences between a lot of the shades. Like, I'm sure it's just a slight difference in undertone. Like C3, that shade in the center, and D5, that shade one row down and a little bit over, I really can't foresee those being super different on the lids. And then D4, that shade right next to D5, and the first shade in the row, I can't foresee those looking super different from each other on the lids. Like, there's just a lot of similar shades in here for me. A lot of people have also done comparisons to the other Norvina palettes and pointed out there's a ton of similarities, so I feel like if you have any of the other Pro Pigment palettes, you probably don't need to get this one too, unless it's like your freaking favorite formula in the world. But other people have also compared it to the Midas Cosmetics Perception palette, and I know that Midas is going out of business and you can't buy this on their website anymore, but a lot of people are selling it on Mercari for like still cheaper than the cost of this Norvina palette. And if you already have it, I just wanted to point this out. Like, these palettes look very similar to each other, but I like the color story and organization of the Midas one a whole lot better. So for me, this is very exciting that I already have this, because I saw the Norvina palette and I was like, ooh, yellows, pinks, greens, and sparkles. Oh wait, I already have that. Fantastic news for me. But yeah, I just really struggled to understand the organization of the Norvina Pro Pigment palettes. If you guys get it, if you were seeing the vision, can you please explain it to me? Because if there's one thing I hate, it's not understanding the organization of things. I'm also pretty sure that first row is glitters. At least they look a lot like glitters. Correct me if I'm wrong and they're shimmers, but they're giving big glitter energy to me, and I do not typically like pressed glitters. Maybe there is only one. I don't know. It doesn't matter. I wouldn't buy this even if there were no pressed glitters in it. Norvina is not a person I currently like or want to support, but even all of that stuff aside, color story is just not something I need, and her palettes are so freaking expensive too. How much is this? Okay, yeah, it's $60. See, that's a lot for me. That's a lot for me, unless it's gonna be the best formula in the whole world, and from what I've heard, it's not. So let me know if you're picking this up, or if you have any of the other Pro Pigment palettes and can vouch for us in the comments that there's a lot of crossover. Please do let us know so you can help us all save some money. Thank you so much. All right, you guys, and with that, we've reached the end of the video. There's so many more new makeup releases I could talk about, but like I said in the intro, I really try not to mention new makeup releases that I'm not buying just for preference reasons. Like I said, the Patrick Ta palette looks beautiful, but for preference reasons, I'm not gonna buy it. There's also looks like there's a new Charlotte Tilbury Pillow Talk products coming out that are very neutral that I'm just not gonna buy. You know, there's a lot of luxury brands that launch very like neutral makeup, which totally makes sense, but it's just not for me. I'm not willing to pay luxury prices for something that I'm not gonna wear all the time. So that's why I didn't mention most of that stuff. The new Fenty bronzer palette looks absolutely beautiful, but it's just, I don't buy bronzer palettes like that because that just doesn't make sense for me in my makeup collection. But yeah, overall, I would say this has been a successful anti-haul, but please let me know in the comments what you're not buying or what you are buying. Like I said, no judgment on this side of the screen. You spend your money however you want to spend it, and I shall do the same. But I do thank you so much for watching. If you liked this video, please give it a big thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. I post new videos every Monday and Thursdays, and on Saturdays we live stream. It's so much fun. I love my live stream friends. You guys are all so sweet. But check out my description box for all of the makeup on my face today in case you're curious about any of the details. Also in my description box, I'll have a bunch of Black Lives Matter resources to support the Asian American community, resources to support the LGBTQ+ community, and resources to support Ukraine. So please click on those links if you haven't yet. And thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye!